Hey there people, how you doing? So, today we have the complete comparison between the OnePlus 8 Pro and the iPhone 12. Holy shh!
Aren't you forgetting something?
Dude! You scared the
Jesus out of you? Sure I did. And that is because you forgot about our sponsors.
What? No, I didn't forget anything. I was gonna get...
No. You had your chance and you blew it. So now, sit still, be quiet and watch how the grown-ups do it, alright? So, ladies and gentlemen, let me, Lucifer, introduce you guys to Gadget Shields with a Z at the end. Gotta love that name. But what they do are make some of the best skins for the price. The literal sheer quality is just tremendous.
That is true. This skin on the iPhone 12 that I've got is called the Hive. And you know, it's not just because the quality is good, it's also because the very precision of the cut. It's damn impressive.
Exactly, I mean, there are literally no gaps, especially in the camera module, man. The only thing that I can see over here is sheer and utter perfection. That's hard to come by, let me tell you, especially at this price point. And I know I'm telling price, yeah. But the reason behind it is because the price of this Hive skin right here is just 500 rupees. That converts over to just $7. Ladies and gentlemen, $7, that is pretty amazing price if you ask me. Especially for a skin of such intense quality. Feels like a dream to tell you the truth.
Oh, and the OnePlus 8 Pro skin that I've got here, it's called the Concept 1 Black Edition. I mean, the name is cool as hell, but the skin, well, it is the coolest skin that I've ever laid my eyes on. And it's about 600 rupees, 100 more than the iPhone, and that would be around...
It's $8, genius, don't try math, you need an actual brain for it. So, as you see, the OnePlus 8 Pro skin, damn, look at that. If that ain't gorgeous, I don't know what is, because clearly the two skins we have here, the main thing about these two is precision, and that is something they nailed over and over. As you can see, it's a wraparound skin, and yet the fit is so perfect. God, you know what you guys should do? Go down to that link in the description, buy a skin, try it out, you're never gonna regret it. And of course, you guys can thank me later. But in case you guys are interested in cases, no pun intended, or maybe it's screen protectors, well, for that, Gadget Shields have got you covered as well, which is goddamn impressive. So, let's face it, it's Christmas, ladies and gents, so go ham.
So let's talk about these two phones now, because that's what you're here for after all. So, design-wise, well, once you cover up their backs with skins, I guess the glossy and matte finish problem kind of solves itself. And, well, because of that, I kind of think that with the skin, the iPhone becomes a much more pleasurable experience to use. Now, of course, that doesn't solve the problem of the iPhone being slightly less comfortable because, you know, the sharper edges, they can sometimes cause a little bit problem for some people. It doesn't cause too much problem for me, but because of the fact that I feel that the OnePlus 8 Pro is just a tad bit more comfortable to hold because of the curves, I think I'm just gonna hand comfortability while using to the OnePlus 8 Pro. But the iPhone this time around especially looks a lot more unique, and I really like this design, so I just want to put it out there. But let's face it, the OnePlus 8 Pro looks a lot more modern, especially on the front, because it's got a lot less bezels. It's got just one punch hole camera cutout in place of a ginormous notch. There's of course a reason for the notch, I know, but it's still ginormous, it still gets in the way, and I have not gotten used to it even after using for nearly 2 months now. So yeah, all in all, I think I like the OnePlus 8 Pro's design overall a little bit better. So now let's talk about the displays, because I think that's the more important part where the main differentiation occurs between the iPhone 12 and the OnePlus 8 Pro. So here's how it goes. The OnePlus 8 Pro has a QHD Plus 120Hz display. That's right, high-res, high refresh rate display, and it is beautiful and sharp and smooth in like all in one. I mean, the OnePlus 8 Pro's display, in my opinion, is One of the, if not the best display out there. Everything about it is awesome. Now I know some OnePlus 8 Pro phones have issues with screens becoming yellow and all that. I haven't experienced it. I must have somehow managed to get the best OnePlus out there, but nonetheless, fact is, if the OnePlus 8 Pro screen doesn't glitch out and it works properly, this screen is gonna impress you more than anything else. Now, content consumption, that's always a different story. SDR content, I would say both of them have amazing SDR, and yes, the obvious differences apply. The iPhone does have a little bit more of a flatter look, less vibrance and all that. Whoever likes that, they can go for the iPhone. But the OnePlus 8 Pro on the other hand, completely opposite when playing standard dynamic range content. But when it comes to HDR, well, things are a little bit more confusing, let's call it, because the OnePlus 8 Pro on one hand, it looks fantastic. It looks very clean, and I say that in particular because the OnePlus 8 Pro has 10-bit color. So what happens is when you're playing back HDR, it's usually 8-bit color, like in the Note 20 Ultra or the iPhone 12, it's always 8-bit color. OnePlus 8 Pro uses native 10-bit color, and that removes all the color banding and artifacting that you can often see. It's not always there, but it's quite a few times visible to make it kind of a nuisance. That is just absent on this one, and that is such an immense peace of mind and such a beautiful experience. Speaking of HDR, the iPhone 12 has Dolby Vision HDR, and for those of you who use Netflix to primarily view your content, well, the HDR Netflix is Dolby Vision compatible, which is why Dolby Vision HDR on Netflix looks the best on the iPhones. That holds true against the Note 20 Ultra, the OnePlus 8 Pro, or any other Android device, because iPhones have Dolby Vision and Android devices don't. So, the display of the OnePlus 8 Pro is better from a technical standpoint. It has 10-bit color, it has a higher resolution, a higher refresh rate, which is the more important part in my opinion, because day-to-day usage is just as important as content consumption. Sure, you're gonna watch a lot of movies, but you're also gonna use your phone as a phone. So because of that, I'm gonna go with the OnePlus 8 Pro. It is the more well-rounded and higher quality display in my opinion. Except for the fact that it has a lot of issues, as I've heard multiple times from multiple people. So do keep that in mind. Now, performance and battery life, I think this is the more interesting part, because the OnePlus 8 Pro, I don't know what OnePlus has done with this, but damn, the battery life on this one is tremendously good, because I've kept it at adaptive QHD Plus with 120Hz always on, and man, I get tremendously good battery life. I easily get over 6 hours, like almost always edging at 6.5 hours and having just a tad bit left. It's impressive, and it is just as good as the iPhone 12, because I get 6.5 hours on this one, but this is a 60Hz 1080p display. I mean, that's meager compared to the OnePlus 8 Pro. And so, if you think about it from a technical standpoint, the OnePlus 8 Pro's battery life is actually miles better than the iPhone's ever could be. No wonder they didn't include 120Hz. It would have tanked this one's battery completely. Anyways, performance. Performance is something that Apple dominates, and it's true this time around. The iPhone is better in performance. It has a lot more raw power. It has the Apple A14 Bionic, which is a monster in and of itself that gobbles up everything in its path. That's just how it goes, and that's just how it's gonna be for a while now. The cameras. We had it coming. I mean, this is a hot debate. A lot of people like to see camera comparisons between the OnePlus 8 Pro and the iPhone, apparently. And so here are my complete thoughts on those. I think that the OnePlus 8 Pro has a tremendously good camera. For normal subjects, like say flowers or nature or landscapes or even architecture, if you want to shoot those things, the OnePlus 8 Pro is fantastic. It has very punchy, nice high contrast, not overly high, but still beautiful high contrast and nice vibrance. It's all amazing. Especially after the latest update, the OnePlus 8 Pro's camera is just beyond fantastic. The white balance and tint problems that I had earlier have all mostly been fixed, like completely. But it falters, just like almost every other Android phone that I've used when it comes to human subjects, because clearly, human subjects, whether it's selfies or portraits or normal photographs of humans, is always going to be better on the iPhone. At least I think that I look a little bit better on the iPhone as compared to on the OnePlus, or as a matter of fact, any Android device. And when it comes to night mode, I do like the OnePlus better. It has a larger sensor, and so it usually gets less noise and more details, and natural details. It's not over sharpened or over processed or anything like that. The night mode is very good. You also have ultra wide night mode. Now, the ultra wide camera, although being one of the best, highest quality ultra wide cameras I've seen, because it's a large 48 megapixel sensor for the ultra wide camera, well, it's not the best thing out there. I mean, it's not wide enough, is how I mean it. The quality is there, but it needs to be a little bit more wide. I think then it would be like perfect, in my opinion. And ultra wide night mode, as such, is good. It's very good. It is definitely better than the iPhone, because ultra wide night mode is something that the iPhone suffers from, and we haven't had any fixes yet. We might see something maybe in the near distant future, who knows. But for now, I haven't seen any fixes. So with that said, I think I like the cameras on the OnePlus better, but it could go either ways, to be honest, for photography of course. When it comes to human subjects, easily the iPhone is better, and if that is something you're interested in, I would suggest going for the iPhone, because humans are hands down better on the iPhone, at least in my opinion. Then we have video, and video it's a hard choice, to be honest. It's just that the iPhone 12 has good video quality. It does have better video quality than most Android phones because it's a more powerful device, but the difference is very minor at this point in time. And hence, I do think that the other differences, like having a larger sensor for low light and medium to low light indoors video, it matters a little bit more than just a little bit more raw quality that the iPhone has. The OnePlus 8 Pro will give you better quality video, but less noise, more details in low light. While in broad daylight, when lighting is not a problem, when the sensor, being so small, can get all the light it needs, the iPhone is gonna give you slightly more sharp, more detailed videos. But to be honest, once again, it is not a major difference, and I do think that having a more versatile camera system on the OnePlus 8 Pro, then including the fact that we have better low light video on the OnePlus 8 Pro, well, I guess it nullifies the extra little bit of quality that you can get out of the iPhone 12. And basically, I want to call video a tie. So overall, cameras, well, it's very close to a tie, but I personally like the OnePlus 8 Pro a little bit better. Like, if I were told to pick one and then walk away, I'd pick the OnePlus 8 Pro. That's the kind of situation when it comes to cameras. So now, I won't talk about which OS is better, because that's entirely up to you. If you want iOS, go for the iPhone. If you want Android, well, Oxygen OS is one of the best out there. That's a guarantee. Trust me, Oxygen OS is amazing. I think most people already know that. But from a more generalized standpoint, let's break it down. The OnePlus 8 Pro has a slightly better design, more comfortable design as such. It has definitely a better display. When it comes to battery life, I think it's tie. And when it comes to performance, the iPhone is better. When it comes to cameras, I would say it can go either way. You could go for the iPhone and still be very happy with it. You could go with the OnePlus, and it has its perks, it has its downsides. That's just how it is. It's not really easy enough to call one of them better than the other in every sense possible. That's just not how it is, at least in case of these two. So overall, well, I prefer the OnePlus, but I also understand the appeal for the iPhone, because for those who need an iPhone for whatever reasons, maybe it's because you're in the ecosystem or you like iOS and you do not like Android, it's very much understandable. But, these are the differences. You guys gotta choose whichever one you want. And also, if it's possible for you, do let me know in the comments the reasons why you're choosing it. I would just like to know. It's just curiosity. Me personally, if you're interested in my opinion and my preference, which one I would go for is the OnePlus 8 Pro, because primarily I'm an Android user, and yes, it is my preference to use Android because I can customize it. Secondly, I like the design and the display on the OnePlus 8 Pro way too much to ever even think about the iPhone. If it had 120Hz, maybe there would be some way to, consider the iPhone, but now, not really. I personally would be going for the OnePlus 8 Pro. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will be seeing you guys later. Cheers.